to say that you design in Melbourne is not a dirty word. You know, there's a lot of students that finish and they're straight on a plane, and it's like, see you later, I'm not coming back for at least 5 years, or you know, the other world is better than here. But to design in Melbourne is not a dirty word, it's quite good. And it's only now that we've started to really understand that. It's not just about, oh, you design in Melbourne, it's cheaper rents than in Paris, or you can get a bigger space or things like that. It's really the lifestyle, and the lifestyle and the people, I suppose, that make it both hard but easy. And you know, with the internet and also with travelling, that keeps you going. And also, I like to have a swim too. Where would I swim in Paris? What, the same? Where would I swim? You know, so I don't mind having, I have to go to South France. Well, yeah, well, you can't, it's all pebbles, and, you know, can't do that. So there's that side, I suppose. What's brought us together is really our love of Paris, our love of good design and food and wine. Play a part as well, don't they, Peter?
Moving along.
Food and wine.
Next question.
How we met, of course, like we studied at RMIT, we were in the undergraduate, and we had really, really different aesthetics. But we did have a love of design, and I suppose when we graduated, a lot of people were really interested to, well, they were curious to see how we would work together because our aesthetics were so different.
When we first set up, we did set up, we weren't a label yet, it was always called Six. It was a huge warehouse space in Flinders Lane. We had other people with us, graphic designers, it's all sharing it together. And then maybe 2 years after setting that up, we formed a partnership and a label per se.
At the moment, you know, with our PhD, I suppose we're looking at what it is we do and how do we design, and what sort of, it might sound funny actually, what sort of mental space or head space do we have to get into to design?
The way we do.
The way we do.
Yeah.
And we've discovered that we need to surround ourselves with this idea of Paris. Paris keeps coming up again and again in the language, that we transcend where we are and we surround ourselves or immerse ourselves in this idea of the imagined space or the Parisian space in order to be able to design.
Well, we've discussed it too. Why do we use French words when we both can't speak French? Our French is appalling. So why do we do that? And I guess we've sort of, you know, and we know when French is translated into English that sometimes it doesn't translate correctly. So it's about the ambiguities for us, the way of being evasive or ambiguous. You know, and what's one of our favourite labels? Yeah, Comme des Garçons. What does that mean exactly? I mean, it's full of double entendres and paradoxes, you know, so...
Yeah, like the boys.
Yeah, like the boys.
Are they like the boys? And she's a woman and it's spelled a bit wrong too.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, which then leads us to why would we call our space La Chambre de Bonne? Why is it so small? You know, when
well,
most
the first time we went to Paris, I stayed in the Chambre de Bonne. It was a tiny room this big with just a basin, and that was it, and you had to share the toilet on the level. And Denise stayed in another place, and I was sort of sneaking to her place. It was better than where I was. And I said this recently too.
Like as a game.
I wouldn't buy clothing in the particular space we've constructed. So what we've set up is, it's, you know, your clients are very loyal. Because, you know,
brave.
you've got to take your clothes off in there's no change room here. But technically, it's what we call it, La Chambre de Bonne, which translates into like a maid's room. It is like your bedroom. It is like a wardrobe for you to get changed, put things on. You know, we come, we have a look, we take it in, add something to, you know, but I guess you've got to seek us out. And I guess our clients, they probably know more about our business and about our label than we do.
That's right. And I mean, people often say, do you argue or do you get into heated debates? Yeah, of course we do, but sometimes, and it's embarrassing, we work at RMIT, we share an office there as well as designing here, and we forget, we act like six at RMIT, and you hear us sort of saying, no, I'm not doing it, you do that, there's a little bit of sort of bargy going on, but I suppose at the end of the day, maybe we're like twins, maybe we're like brother and sister, maybe we're inseparable, maybe we just see the same things about design, or like I said, food and wine, we like food and wine, and also art. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's the whole sensorial experience, isn't it? You know what I mean?
We'd rather have a small showroom that mimics, and mimic is a word that we love, mimics the Parisian experience, like Peter said, coming into a little wardrobe. It could be your wardrobe, it could be your cupboard, coming in, and having that sort of touch of, dare we say, haute couture, and that can never exist here.
But one of our clients did sort of articulate that for her, it's probably the closest to couture that she could get. And I guess what she meant was she could pick something from the rack, a model, then a toile would be made for her, and the design then could be appropriated slightly, and it would fit her technically. And she's there with the designers in the space, and also it's that idea too that the client is part of the design process. This is not hard sell. We've just got racks of clothes, people come in, buy. If they want to change things, that's a negotiation. How much do we change it? Do we change it a little bit? Because when you think about the scale of a garment, that's technically changing it too. How far can you scale up a garment before you lose the memory or the sentiment of what it actually was? Or we propose garments with no backs or something, but they go, I need a back for it, so we have to work something.
I bring up underpants.
But it's an important conversation with them when it happens.
And all the things, what about all the things you see along the way and it is a bit of a memory, like when we started, no internet, it's like and mobile phones were like big, boxes that you were carrying around, but no internet. It was at the beginnings of the internet, and this is why it's still important. I know the internet's there and that you can Skype, etc., but I think that it's still important for us, and I've seen it with the students. You need to meet the people that you're going to. You need to meet the people. You need to have relationships with the people that you're going to work with, and then you continue that really. We've spent entire nights wandering the streets in Paris too, haven't we? The first thing you do when you get off the plane is maybe go, well, apart from the bakery and the chausson à pain, is go to Chambre de Garçon and check on them, and then go up and down Avenue Montagne, see what's going on there, maybe go to the Arts Decorative, all the little things. We've got a little routine when we go to Paris. Probably our most favourite routine is to go to the Galerie Lafayette food hall. You love that. You love that for lunch, Peter. You love that.
Yeah.
London Fashion Week. Oh yes. That's when we worked. For Owen Gaster as interns. Oh, that was a great experience. Because remember at the time there was Owen Gaster, Hussein Shalai, and Alexander McQueen. They were all listed as people to watch. And so we were there as interns for Owen Gaster for 3 nights. Do you remember that? It was the most horrible experience ever. Because his studio was in the East End, Jack the Ripper territory, remember? And when we arrived, we got off the plane 24 hours, got off the plane and went straight to the internship. And they just gave us, it was just in a burnt out building. And we'd come from RMIT where there was the most amazing equipment, and they had nothing. They had a couple of domestic sewing machines, didn't they? Yeah. It's just so weird. And they gave us like a needle and thread and said, right, do the punch stitch. And I'm saying, Peter, what's the punch stitch? I don't even know what the punch stitch is. It was really, really funny. And then they said, come back the next day and we'll work on the show. And we were out the back. And Kylie Minogue was there. She came backstage to wish him all the best.
Yeah.
And there was, that really famous person that worked with Vivienne Westwood. Remember, he was a stylist with her. Oh, it was like a who's who, but we didn't even know anyone. We were just bumbling around. And Owen Gaster, like 5 minutes before the show, threw us a dress and said, cut the hem on that.
But I mean, the dress, yeah. When you said cut the hem, I mean, it was like a Devore dress with sort of asymmetrical straps, and the straps were constructed because of the Devore. But there was no model to put the garment on, so we didn't know how to hem it.
We didn't know how to hem it.
I think we just sort of cut it.
We just cut it, and they were like, quick, it's got to go out on the runway. And that was just a strange experience for us, because we come from RMIT, where you had to do everything systematically, and it was perfect, and, and then we were just thrown into this absolute chaos.
But it was also a great time too, because after we did that internship, the last show was Alexander McQueen's show in the church. We had no tickets. It was pelting down with rain. We get there, it's in Spitalfields, and Denise said, we're not going to be able to get in, it's packed. And I said, Denise, all right, let's go around the corner. So we walked around the corner of the church, and there was a gate opened at the back, and we walked through, and technically we're backstage, and we just walked through. We got a seat.
And it was just incredible. I mean, that was a show where he had all the skeletons in the front row, and all the beautiful tailored jackets, and the bumpster and the lace bumpsters, and it was the most spectacular thing we'd ever seen. Isabella Blow was there, and Philip Tracy, remember, and that millinery. It was just incredible. But I think it was the way the show was staged, with the church and the music and the lighting and the way, it was a who's who of all the models at the time. It was just, that was great. That's right.
But I guess it's what we started to look at too was, I guess, maybe that idea of the English model, the London model versus the Parisian model versus the Milan model versus New York. And I guess what London taught us, or what came forward, was that's the energy. Those designers just got the stuff up on the catwalk, whatever way, whatever method, it was all valid. Where Milan, you don't show in Milan unless you've got a big infrastructure behind you, do it a certain way. Paris, everyone gets a go, and that's why we love Paris.
Yeah, that's why we liked Paris. And I suppose that's what brought us together, really, to design together, because we really had that feeling that we needed to do something in the Northern Hemisphere to show what the Southern Hemisphere could do. Not to sort of say, oh, we're leaving Australia, you haven't given us any opportunities, but just to more or less try and have a stab at Paris. And we were going there for years, weren't we, Peter? Up and back,
well,
up and back, twice a year.
We still go there. It's an important city, and we talk about it. You're not leaving your own country to do something else, but, to be Parisian, you don't have to be French. And that's what we like about that. It's a community. If you understand that city, you can be Parisian.
And I mean, I just feel that what's brought Peter and I together is that we've jumped so many fences and stuck in backstage to so many shows overseas over the years. And when I think about the Jean-Paul Gaultier experience, I have to bring it up because of the exhibition.
We climbed a fence for that too.
We climbed a fence for that, and I said to Peter, I'm never going to get over the fence. And it was at it seemed like it was at some sales yards, or so, it was like, wasn't it?
Well, it was an old train station. It was Espace Pachol.
And it just, I said, I can't get over the fence. They're going to catch us. And they sort of had, searchlights. And we're crouching down. And next minute, these two people were sort of speaking in French. And I just go, come on, you can do it. Get over that fence. And I just went up and over. And then we had to sneak in. And we got to the front door. And remember, Pete just said, just charge through these two curtains. And I'm standing there. And there's Stella Tennant in front of me. That was like 1996? I almost get the date wrong. Seems like yesterday. But 1996, there was Stella Tennant, and that was just wonderful. And even she was in the crowd, like a gate crusher.
Yeah, she wasn't in the show as a model. She was actually probably looking at her friends, in the show. Was great.
Yeah.
But I guess, and then we went to Mata Mojala, and that was really important, and we've been to many of his shows.
Yes, and we were backstage eating leaner sandwiches and talking to Martin Margiela, and that was, he was saying to us, be really careful of the big corporations. And when I think about it now, it's like, wasn't he right? Be careful. Be careful, he was saying. Can we come and intern for you? And he said, look, it costs me a lot of money, to take on interns, because you have to take time out to train them and everything. But you can come past and paint the jeans. And I said to Peter, I'm too frightened to go by myself the next day with the textile designers to paint the jeans, because they were doing all that denim and painting it white, and it's just all...
Look, I remember once, there was a shipment of garments, I think they came from Savers or somewhere, I can't remember. And the class were unpicking the garment and getting the scissors out, and Denise was walking around. I wasn't in the studio, you told me the story. And one of the students had a black Yoji Yamamoto jacket, and she's ready to cut into it, and Denise said, look, I don't think this one's a good one for you.
I got her another one. Cut that.